up, guys? This is your boy Legendary here, and today, people, we're going to be reviewing Jim Crocodile Cook's new fossil cards that just got revealed. They got revealed about a week ago or so. I wanted to do a video on it, but unfortunately, things kind of got in the way, and this got kind of pushed back a little bit over a week. But that's fine. It doesn't matter. We're going to get into it right now. We're going to review all his new fossil cards, including the old ones, because I never reviewed Fossil Fusion and Fossil Warrior Skull King. I never reviewed those, so I'm going to review all of them here at once. But just so you guys know, I'm going to be reviewing these cards in a different order. I'm going to start off with the spell cards first, and then the monster, and then the fusions. The reason why is because I feel like you won't really understand the fusions unless you read the spell cards first. But anyway, guys, let's just get right into it and review the new fossil cards for Jim Crocodile Cook. First up, we have Fossil Fusion, the fusion spell card for the deck. It's a normal spell card. Fusion summon one Fossil Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion monsters listed on it from either player's graveyard. And if you banish monsters from both players' graveyards, neither player can target the special summon monster with monster effects. If a face of Fossil Fusion monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So this is a really cool card. I love that they added a bunch of extra stuff to it. So yeah, this isn't like Poly where you could fuse from the hand. The field is only from the graveyard. So you could use only your graveyard, or you could use yours and your opponent's. And if you use both players' graveyards, it just gives your fusion monster some inherent protection from monster effects, which is great. Well, from being targeted at least. And then on top of that, if your fusions would be destroyed, you could add this card back to your hand. So that's really cool. So it's great. It recycles itself. It protects your fusion monster from being targeted and whatnot. So this is a really good card, and don't worry, there are ways of sending monsters to your opponent's graveyard that we'll get into next. So next up, we got Specimen Inception. So this is a normal spell. Reveal one Fossil Fusion in your hand, send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, declare one type and level. Your opponent looks at their hand and their deck and sends one monster of the declared type and level to the graveyard. If there is any, you can only activate one Specimen Inspection per turn. So this card is really great because basically this allows you to have your opponent forcefully send a monster to the graveyard so that you could use for Fossil Fusion. So that's really great. If you know the person that you're facing, if you know the deck that you're facing already, that's great because you just have to know the opponent's deck and just declare one name and type or whatever, and they have to send that monster. And now you have a material in your opponent's graveyard, and getting a material in your own graveyard is really easy. So yeah, it's really cool. It's a really great card. For character purposes, this is great. If you know a lot of character decks like I do, like we do on this channel, I pretty much know every single monster card almost that's in everyone's deck, or at least know the name of a few of them. So that's good. They'll just send it straight to the graveyard, and then I could use it for fusion. So I like this card. It's good. It helps you set up. It helps you go turn one into a fusion right away. So that's great. Alright, next up we got the spell card Miracle Rapture. Send one level 4 lower rock monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if Fossil Fusion is in your graveyard, draw one card. So this is really great too because it instantly sends a rock monster straight to your graveyard, which is good because you need that for fusion material. And then on top of that, if Fossil Fusion's already in your graveyard, you get to draw one card. So it's just an extra plus. And I think Jim runs 2 Fossil Fusions in his deck in the anime, so you know you'll have opportunity for that as well. But yeah, so Miracle Rapture, another really good card right there. Next up, we got the normal spell card Time Stream. So they changed up this effect a lot, but let's just read its new effect. Target one Fossil Fusion monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, special summon from your extra deck one Fossil Fusion monster whose original level is 2 levels higher than the tributed monster. This is treated as a fusion summon with Fossil Fusion. During your main phase, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and one Fossil Fusion monster from your graveyard. Then target one Fossil Fusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So yeah, they fixed this up a lot in the anime. You had to pay half your life points and return the fusion monster back to the extra deck, and then summon, you know, one that's 2 levels higher and whatnot. And it was just that cost of paying half your life points. It's crazy. But they changed it so that instead of returning the monster back to the extra deck, now you tribute it, which is good because the fusions have effects that they can banish themselves from the graveyard, so that's good. They created a new style with it, and it's much better. But yeah, so this card is great because it allows you to go from the low level ones to the high level ones. So there is a level 4 fusion one, so what you could do is you can activate, I think, Miracle Rapture. No, you could activate Specimen on your turn 1, declare one of their monsters and then they send it to the graveyard. Then you activate a Miracle Rapture to send one of your level 4 lower rock monsters to the grave. Then you activate Fossil Fusion, you summon the level 4 fusion monster, which we'll get into later, and then you activate Time Stream, go into the level 6. If you have another Time Stream, I don't know if you can activate 2 at the same time in the same turn. So yeah, it has no restrictions, so you could activate multiple. So you can go from 4 to 6 to 8. So in your first turn, you could summon Fossil Warrior Skull King without your opponent even having any high-leveled monsters in the graveyard. So Time Stream is great. It allows you to go into your higher-leveled ones faster turn 1. So that's really great. I like that a lot. And then it has an extra effect where you can banish it from the graveyard along with another fusion to special summon another Fossil Fusion from your graveyard. So that's good. So it gives you a Monster Reborn type effect as well. So that's really great. So I like this card a lot. It's good. The fact that it's not a once per turn effect is really great because you can just keep leveling up, so to speak, and do what you got to do. But yeah, so this card is really cool. I like it a lot. I like what they did with it. Next up, we got Weathering Soldier, the only monster that got revealed so far for this archetype, and might be the only one that they're going to reveal, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future they'll make the other ones from his deck, because they could create some other cool effects with that, because some of them have really lame bad effects. But anyway, Weathering Soldier is a level 4 Earth Rock type monster with 2000 attack and 1200 defense. And this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, or if this card is destroyed by battle. You can add one Fossil Fusion or one card that specifically lists that name in its text from your deck to your hand, except Weathering Soldier. You can only use this effect of Weathering Soldier once per turn. Once per turn during your end phase, this card loses 600 attack. The last effect is really irrelevant, don't even worry about that. So the first effect is amazing, because essentially if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, aka Miracle Rapture, you could send Weathering Soldier to the graveyard with Miracle Rapture, trigger its effect, and then add one Fossil Fusion from your deck to your hand, or a card that specifically lists Fossil Fusion, so you could add Time Stream to your hand. You could add another copy of Miracle Rapture to your hand. You could basically add all the spell or trap cards that list Fossil Fusion. So that's really great. So yeah, basically all the spell and trap cards, all the new ones. So sorry, not trap cards, just the spell cards. So yeah, so that's really great. It allows you to search. You can't get better than that. It's really easy to send it to the graveyard by a card effect because of Fossil Fusion. Well, not because of Fossil Fusion, but because of Miracle Rapture. So that's really good. And I have to look through Jim's deck, but he might have other cards to discard him to the graveyard by a card effect, or send him to the grave by a card effect, but we'll see. But anyway, really great card right there. You can't really complain. It's just a searcher, a really good searcher, and it has 2000 attack right from the start, which is not important because you're going to fuse right away. Anyway, let's go to the next card. Alright, we're going to get started with the fusions. We got the first fusion, Fossil Warrior Skullbone. It's a level 4 Earth Rock fusion type monster, 2000 attack, 800 defense. It requires one rock monster and one level 4 lower monster. Its effectives must first be fusion summoned with Fossil Fusion. This card can make a second attack on a monster during each battle phase. You can banish this card from the graveyard, add one Time Stream from your deck to your hand. So that's perfect, even better right there. So this is what I was saying. You activate Specimen to make your opponent send a level 4 lower to the graveyard. And then you activate Miracle Rapture to send your rock monster to the graveyard. Then you activate Fossil Fusion, and then you could search Fossil Fusion out because of the card effect, and then summon this thing, and then activate your Time Stream to send this to the graveyard to summon a 6, and then you banish this card from the graveyard to add another Time Stream. So yeah, and then from there you go to an 8. So you go from 4 to 6 to 8 all in one shot. So that's really good. Very good effect. I like it. It just sets everything up. It all makes sense. All these cards work very smoothly together. Very smoothly. But yeah, so that's really good. I really like that a lot. It's very versatile. Like I said, that's why I read the spell cards first, so you could understand that it's really not that hard to summon some of these. But anyway, next up, we got Fossil Dragon Skullgar, which is another level 4 fusion. 2500 attack and 0 defense. It requires one rock monster and one level 4 lower monster in your opponent's graveyard, which is fine. We already discussed how to do that. Must first be special summoned with Fossil Fusion. If this card attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts piercing damage. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add one Fossil Fusion from your deck to your hand. So basically this is kind of the same thing as Skullbone, only instead of searching Time Stream, you search out Fossil Fusion. And that's pretty much it. And then it does some piercing damage, which is irrelevant. But yeah, so you could also just, instead of going for Skullbone, you could summon Skullgar first. It really depends which combo you're going for. Do you have Time Stream already in your hand? Then maybe you should go for Skullgar. That way you search out Fossil Fusion. But yeah, so Fossil Dragon Skullgar, very good card. It just does pretty much the same thing as the other one, only except it just searches Fossil Fusion. So I like it. Has strong attack points. Doesn't have defense, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. For a level 4, 25 is really high. But it doesn't matter because you're just gonna tribute it off for time stream anyway, most likely. So yeah. Next up, we have Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. Level 6, 2400 attack, 1100 defense, rock fusion earth monster. 1 rock monster plus 1 level 5 or 6 monster. So this is what you go into after you use one of your 4s and you go into a 6, and this is your 6. Must be special summoned with Fossil Fusion. If this card attacks it, inflicts piercing damage. When this attacking card destroys a monster by battle, you can activate this effect. It can make a second attack in a row. You can match this card from your graveyard and target one monster on the field and destroy it. So really great right there. You can only activate this once per turn. So the good thing about these fusions so far, it seems like there's no restriction on it. So the turn that they're sent to the graveyard, it seems like you could still activate them right away. So as soon as you tribute them off to summon a higher leveled one, then you banish that one to trigger their effect and do whatever they do, and then you level up again, and then you banish that one from the graveyard to activate that effect, and then voila, you there's a lot of pluses here. I really like it. I love the synergy with these cards so far. Everything seems to work well together. I just love what they did with it. They really upgraded his deck, and we're not even done yet. We still have the last 2 fusions to talk about. But yeah, this is good because it just gives you a pop right off the bat. Get rid of a monster, and it's just great. And it could attack twice, but it doesn't matter because you're just going to tribute it off to summon your ace, which we're going to get into now. Alright, so now we have his ace monster, Fossil Warrior Skull King. It's a level 8 Earth Rock Fusion, 2800 attack, 1300 defense. 1 rock monster plus 1 level 7 or higher monster. Must first be a fusion summoned with Fossil Fusion. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase, really good. If this card attacks, it inflicts piercing damage, also pretty good. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Discard 1 card, and if you do, special summon that target to your field. You can only activate this effect once per turn. So this is kind of a unique effect. I really like this. It's very different. You don't see many effects like that, so that's why I do like it. It's something to activate during your opponent's turn. It just allows you to special summon one of your opponent's monsters from the graveyard. This could be kind of cool because if you kill an opponent's monster by battle with this card, as soon as it hits the graveyard, you would activate this effect and then special summon that monster to your field. So I think that's the purpose of this card. You go in, you kill a monster, and then you bring that monster to your side of the field, and then you can get another attack. Because it doesn't stop the monster from attacking, it doesn't decrease its stats or levels or attack or anything like that. So, pretty good actually. I like that combination. You kill something first, and then you bring it to your field, and then you kill them with their monster. So, I like that. It's pretty cool. So, it can attack twice, it could pierce, and it could bring back one of the monsters that it killed. Or any monster from your opponent's graveyard. It really doesn't matter which it is. But I think that's the idea behind it. So Fossil Warrior Skull King, a pretty cool ace monster. 2800 attack is very high. It's very good. It's not that hard to summon. Level 7 or higher monster you just need. And it doesn't need to be in your opponent's graveyard, which is great. But you do have, I think, Specimen that helps you with that anyway. Alright, and then the final fusion card we have Fossil Dragon Skullgios. This is a level 8 Earth Rock type fusion monster with 3500 attack and 0 defense. Requires 1 rock monster and 1 level 7 or higher monster in your opponent's graveyard. Must be special summoned with Fossil Fusion. Before damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you could switch the current attack and defense of that opponent's monster until the end of the damage step. So that's pretty cool because it allows you to, if you're attacking something with too much high attack points, or you just want to do more damage and they have low defense, you could just swap their attack and defense and do some more damage. So that's pretty cool. And then if this card attacks a defensive monster and inflicts piercing damage, typical. If this fusion summon card battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Ooh, okay. Okay, so that's good too. So it does double battle damage. That's pretty dope. So the last effect and the first effect works well together because you attack something, you swap its attack and defense. If it has, let's say it has like 2500 attack and 0 defense, right? You switch it, now it has 0 attack, you attack into it, you do 25 damage, and then that doubles, that does 5000 damage. So that's really great. That's huge right there. Or let's say you're battling a monster with very high defense points and you want to do some damage. You switch its attack, but it has low attack, so now then you switch that, you attack that defensive monster, you do piercing damage, and then that piercing damage doubles. So really good card. It's a really good kind of like OTK kind of card. Like he could possibly win a game for you right there. You know, you just make sure to do enough damage. He manipulates attack and defense points so he can make it easier for him to just knock you out in one shot. So Fossil Dragon Skullgios, I like it a lot. It's a very cool card, very strong. It's not that hard to summon, you know, considering that you have Specimen to help you do that. Obviously, you have to know your opponent's deck very well in order to play these cards right. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the cards right there. These are all of Jim Crocodile Cook's new fossil cards. I like them all. I love the playing style. I don't know how competitive they're going to be. To be honest, I don't care. In terms of converting the anime cards to the real cards, just like they did with Cyber Angels back in the day, I think they did an amazing job with these cards. I think they're very powerful. They work extremely well together. They gave them extra effects that really actually do something, and it builds up to something. All these cards build up to something. Like literally you're just leveling up all the way, which is great. And then you can banish them from the graveyard to activate their effects. And then the big boss monsters like Fossil Warrior, Skull King, and Skullgios, they're kind of like, oh, you go in, you kill something, you bring something back. They're OTK cards, right? You go in, you kill something, you bring that monster to your side of the field, you attack with that. You also have Skullgios. You go in, whether you attack a monster in attack or defense is irrelevant because it does piercing damage and then it does double battle damage. So they end the games, and then the little ones are just there to help you get to the big boys, and then the big boys end up knocking you out. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. All these cards are really cool. I have no complaints. I'm looking forward to testing these cards out in real life. I can't wait to build Jim's deck. I'm super excited for that. Can't wait for these cards to come out in the summer. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of the fossil cards. Were they good? Were they bad? Do you think they could have been better? I mean, I think they are better compared to their anime effects, and even by themselves, I just think they're really great. But obviously, you know, maybe you were hoping for something more competitive. I'm not sure. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. God bless you guys. See you guys in the next video. Gotcha!